Welcome to the Motivation Without the Hype podcast with your host, Gez Perez. He's an author, high-performance coach, and motivational speaker. This show brings you inspiring messages and interviews to unleash your greatness in life and in business. So let's get started.
Welcome to Motivation Without the Hype podcast show. My name is Gez Perez, a former procrastinator into an action taker. We bring you inspirational messages and interviews, including motivational insights, tips, principles, and proven strategies that you can take action on without the hype in unleashing your greatness in life and in business. Now, we appreciate you plugging in and spending time with us. And we have a very special guest all the way from Miami in the US. And I'm super grateful to have him on our show. Now, his name is Michael. He is a 21st century entrepreneur who's managed to marry skill sets in business, music, fashion, and professional sports into one-stop tour de force brand name. Now, he is under the tutelage of the New York Times Bestselling author and real estate mogul, Grant Cardone. Michael has earned an Ivy League level of schooling in the public relations game from a ground zero perspective. Now, leveraging his credibility in a multitude of verticals, Michael has been able to demonstrate sustained production and master SaaS sales over a host of platforms using BI visualization and data analysis, while spearheading the nation's premier sales team. Now, working hand in hand with C-level executives and stakeholders, Michael has proven track record of implementing executive big business initiatives that have been able to drive consistent growth in revenue over a large sample size. Now, in a 4-year time span, Michael has been responsible for generating over 30 million sales. It's amazing. Now, Mike is the CEO Full Circle Agency, Miami's fastest growing marketing and advertising company, especially in social media management, marketing strategy, web development, paid media, and automation. Now, Michael holds a BA in exercise science from Florida State University. We had the privilege of playing for their perennial national championship level football program. Guys, I'm really excited and pumped to have Michael on the show. So, Michael, welcome.
Hey, man, excited at the opportunity. Man, I appreciate being here today. Sole intention is only to provide value. And man, this is going to be a fun conversation, brother. Fun conversation.
Awesome, man. I'm really pumped. I'm really excited. And with your amazing bio, can you please tell us who you are and what you do?
Yeah, well, I mean, guys, for those, it was a lot in that bio, but bottom line is, had the opportunity to open a marketing and advertising firm here in Miami, Florida. I'm currently the CEO and founder of the Full Circle Agency. We work with small to medium-sized businesses as well as those unicorn-type businesses, right? $1 billion and plus in revenue each and every single year. We specialize in several ways for businesses to get in front of potential consumers and their current purchasing population. I come from a background where we're taught, hey, if no one knows you exist, how the hell can they do business with you? So the number one problem that we solve is eliminate that lack of awareness that a business and or brand has something to serve and something to provide for people to change the better quality of life. We've been rocking and rolling as it relates to that. We got a B2B and a B2C division. We have a sports and entertainment division as well. And that's just in a nutshell as far as what the focus is right now today. Man, it's that Full Circle Agency, and we're going to grow this thing to a multi-billion-dollar evaluated entity. I guarantee it.
Man, that is amazing. Can you tell us how you got started in entrepreneurship? What really gravitated to you to say, you know what, I think I can do this. I can rock this out. Like, how did you get started, and what was your purpose that says, you know what, I'm doing it?
Yeah, great question, man. This entrepreneurship game is real, right? The glitz and the glam, I mean, it's there, but it's more so the hard work. It's more so the late nights. It's more so the man. Sometimes you question if you're doing the right thing. Like that is the reality of the situation. And anybody who lies and says that's not the reality of the situation, I would raise a red flag. Yeah. But with that being said, this is not meant to scare anybody. This is meant to also feed into the next thing that I'm saying. The reason as to why entrepreneurship for me and why I felt that it was the right time. And there never is the right time, but you do need to know a little bit of something. And fortunately, I had the opportunity to be involved in an organization before opening up the Full Circle Agency, where we specialized in teaching individuals how to sell. And I think that my confidence in the ability to sell justified me taking that leap of faith. I'm not even going to call it faith because I knew it was going to happen, but it's the skill sets that were defined prior to opening up the agency. I know for damn sure that marketing is number one. It is the most important thing for anybody and anything if you really want to have an impact. But once you bring somebody into the door, if you don't know how to communicate, if you don't know how to pick up the phone, if you don't know how to set an appointment or overcome an objection or demonstrate what it is you have and your value add and be able to negotiate big deals, well then you know, you might as well just throw your ad spend or your marketing budget in a pool because there is no ROI to the marketing. So why did I hop into entrepreneurship? The reason why I opted into entrepreneurship is because of my skill set to be able to sell. And that is the reason. That is the reason. You got to know certain things in order to do other things. And I believe that sales talent is something that it's the most important asset that anybody can have, to be honest.
So what was your challenge? What was your challenge between that? Obviously, you need to get better in selling and, you know, marketing. But what were your challenges in overcoming those things where, you know, like you didn't get those strides in the beginning? Like you said before, you know, it takes hard work, but not many people realize how hard it is. But it's that tenacity, it's that attitude, it's that relentless of not giving up. What were your challenges and how did you overcome that? Because there's a lot of people who are at the tipping point, but they throw in the towel. But in your spectrum, how did you overcome it and you still thrive forward?
Great question. I don't think we ever overcome completely the resistance or challenges in the marketplace. I think it's constantly evolving. I think it's how you develop as an individual, how you develop as a leader. As far as what you got going on and what we got going on, I would say this much. Once you see something done, it's believable, right? It's like a guy, right? I'm a football guy, did football at Florida State University. It's a very, very, very serious level football. And it's like when you're running the 40-yard dash and you see somebody run a 4.4 or you see somebody run a 4.2 and then all of a sudden a 4.2 is believable. But before you saw somebody do that, it wasn't necessarily something you could comprehend. The reason why we're able to consistently overcome the resistance of the marketplace in our current entity is because of what I was exposed to prior to. Guys, I was a part of a multi-billion-dollar organization. I was training hundreds and thousands of salespeople on a day-to-day basis. I was in front of thousands of people on a stage from week to week, teaching people anything and everything about sales, marketing, and advertising. Like I saw a business go from $12 million in a real estate fund to over $7 billion in a real estate fund, and saw that whole growth trajectory in structure. Wow. Y'all, I was averaging 37,000 outbound cold calls for 4.5 years prior to opening up the agency. The reason as to why we're able to overcome all the resistance is because I saw what it already takes and what it is that you have to do in order to overcome the resistance. You got to understand that it is going to be harder than you expect. And when it does get a little bit harder than you expect, that's when most fold. But walls are meant to be pushed down. So push down the damn wall. Like that is it. I don't know how else to say it. I don't think we're anywhere yet. I don't think in 10 years we're going to be anywhere yet. But it's just constant go. But if there's anything to take away from that, it's take a look at the current situation you're in, or take a look at a high-powered situation that you are a part of, and analyze what was necessary in order to accomplish that. Listen, the proof is already in the pudding, right? You just gotta sync up with that thing and then realize, well, shit, that's what I gotta do, and then just do it.
So I know that you mentioned about, working with clients and companies, tripling, doubling in revenue. Now you work with high caliber C-level executives. What were the key traits that you've coached that made them successful on their business revenue growth?
That's good, man. I would say
you're in the thick and thins of it. You've seen them day in day and out, and you work with them, and so they've got key traits that maybe not people actually understand and see the hard work and work ethics that they put in and day in, just like yourself.
Totally. So there's a couple things that immediately come to mind, and the first thing that comes to mind is every single great leader realizes that every single problem they have in their business is because of them, because they hired the person to create the problem in the first place. Taking full advantage or taking full responsibility for anything and everything that's going on in an entity, right? That was a common denominator amongst the high performing entities. And y'all, I'm talking about AT&T. I'm talking about Ashley Furniture. These are multi-billion dollar organizations. But even their leadership understands that. The second thing that I saw is that every single one of the high level individuals in the businesses that succeeded at an exceptional level, every single one of them, they actually gave a damn about their people. They actually trained their people. They actually held their people accountable. They actually had culture that was implemented into an organization. There was actually onboarding systems and processes. There were actually training manuals. There were actually performance reviews. There was no assumption as to somebody already knows something, so I don't have to pour into that person. Because the fact of the matter is, if they already knew something, they would also be a CEO and not an employee. The realization of like really what's going on in the organization, those that understood that, those that tapped into that, and those that constantly had a magnifying glass to try to overturn the next rock and solve the next problem, those are the ones that would succeed. The only other thing that comes to mind, because there's so many things that come to mind, I mean, one of the other big things that comes to mind though is the fact that the big dogs are worried about who they're onboarding and making sure they're onboarding the right people at the executive level, right? They also fill in the voids on areas where they don't know as much as somebody else, right? Perfect example, I'm thinking of some massive entities. They'll spend double or triple to bring somebody at an executive level on a team, the best person ever, that has the same missions, the same vision, and the same concepts, as opposed to going for the cheaper option, because they know that once they're off the bus still needs to run. They were setting their business up for what's to come when they are no longer the face of the organization, when they are no longer making the moves. And so that sense of not being selfish, that's everything, man. That's everything.
That's so key. Like people who are at that level needs to have a really great team that has, and you mentioned keywords about culture, because culture is never inherited, it's always created. And so to have a high performing culture that are run by accountability, responsibility, taking ownership particularly, and being accountable to their KPIs, to level up, it's really important, right? You mentioned about, not just culture, but having that mindset for that business growth and getting someone who's high caliber, someone who are in business at the moment, but don't have a team because they feel they're kind of like a solopreneur. They've got like a medium-sized team. They want to scale up. However, they got a few bottlenecks or a few things that are kind of holding them back. Do you know what would that be? Is it because they're afraid of scaling up, or they're afraid because they don't have the right caliber team to help them with significant growth in those type of, that journey stage of an entrepreneur or even a business owner? Have you experienced that where, how do you get them unblocked to get them where they need to be successfully?
Yeah, so two things come to mind when you ask that question too, and the first thing is this. Everything that you need to know is in a book somewhere. Open it up and read it, right? Like there's so much stuff that's out there. Massive individuals have already accomplished so many things who have jotted some of the things down that you are going to experience. Like you're not doing this all by yourself. You're not the lone sheep out there in a pasture. Like 700,000 people have already done the thing that you're looking to accomplish.
Right.
They're already steps ahead of you. So either link up to whatever documentation it is that they have out there that explains their process and what they went through and what it is to expect and how they overcame it, or reach on out to the people and actually ask them questions. Listen, we live in an incredible age where we have social media all over. Everything is accessible. Information overload. Make sure you access the information. Follow the individuals, man. You'll be surprised how many people actually want to help people. But all you got to do is ask. All you got to do is take the initiative and the effort. The other thing that comes to mind is, you got to know where you're at in the business. One of my mentors, he actually sold his last company for 77 times EBITDA. It's the highest exit on a publicly traded company ever in the history of mankind, anywhere in the entire universe, ever. And he specializes in growing entities and scaling entities. But I'm not talking about like 3 million and 4 million and $5 million entities, even though that's an incredible level to get to. I'm talking about billion, 2 billion, 4 billion, 8 billion, 25 billion, like massive entities. And the reason why I bring him up is because he constantly taught about different stages of business and what it is you need to be focused on. For instance, a $100,000 business to a $3 million business is all about what you do. You're still in the proof of concept phase. You don't need to do anything else but continue to prove the concept that what it is that you got going on actually works. Your number one area of focus is revenue generation, and if it's not in alignment with that, get it the hell off your table. Once you get past 3 and you get from 3 to 8, now it's okay. Who do I do business with? Meaning, okay, what are the size of the deals that I'm doing? Who am I collaborating with? Like, what does that upreach look like? That's the only thing that's going to get you to the next level. From the 8 to the 12 million, it's again, after you figure it out, we got the what, then the who, right? Then we have to do the what again. The 8 to 12 million is still the what. After the 12 million, the 12 to the 15, and the 15 to the 25, and so on and so forth. Now we go into systems and operations and onboarding and processes and hiring and so on and so forth. So you got to understand where you're at in business in the first place and what's the most important thing for you to dial in at that specific stage. That's what I would say to answer that question. You got to know where you're at in the business. You can't be focused on something that is too premature without already figuring out the thing that's right in front of your face. And if you don't got like a duplicatable, replicatable process, if you don't have a predictable solution for incoming traffic, for inbound inquiries, for those things, if you don't have a proper fulfillment strategy on the back end, then what the hell are you worried about scaling for?
That's right.
Get all that stuff down at first.
Yeah. And that's really key. If someone who's actually listening and watching the podcast show and you are in business right now and you want to scale up, you've really got to find out, what are the gaps that you're experiencing now, get plugged into people who are actually at your level or people who are actually on steps. And you mentioned about, getting ahead of the game, and that is, plug into a mentor who's been ahead of the game. Number two is get some books. I think a lot of people are just so busy running the mill, not knowing that they need to step back and really become an owner to say, what is the strategies that I need to get ahead? Is it the team? Is it the systems? Is it the technology? Is it the culture? All these things play in effect, which is really important to actually step outside. And these are great. I mean, like what you mentioned is like, really key insights. Whether it's in business or in your personal life, to succeed, is it more important to be disciplined or to have a purpose-driven life, or you need both?
Yeah. I would say that you can fake discipline, but you can't fake a purpose.
Ooh, I like that. Come on.
You can fake discipline, but you can't fake a purpose. And man, discipline is so damn necessary. But I don't think you can tap into your true discipline unless you have some significant purpose and or a specific long-term target that you're looking to accomplish. Listen, Michael Jordan wouldn't be as disciplined as he was if he wasn't trying to be the best basketball player ever to play in the history of mankind. Neither would Kobe Bryant. Neither would LeBron James. Now, I'm using American basketball. You're in Australia.
We all know them.
Okay.
Yep. We know them.
Yeah, but check this out. The All Blacks in rugby would not be the All Blacks in rugby, and those contributors on that pitch, right? Like they wouldn't be doing what it is that they're doing if they didn't have a crazy purpose. So I think you have to have purpose in order to have optimal discipline. But you can have discipline without purpose. I think you can.
With everything that you learned in life, what gets you going? With everything that you've learned right through your experiences in life, through college, through the business that you run, what is that one thing that keeps you going to serving others? What is that thing?
Yeah, well, it's not just one thing. It's not one thing. Every single morning I write down, I will be a New York Times bestselling author on the cover of Forbes magazine, worth $12 billion, living in downtown New York, able to provide 10 million foster kids with homes because we were adopted as young children, to have 25,000 units paying me every single month in multifamily, to own a professional ball club, right? And to actually when I die, that every single news channel stops what it is that they're doing and says Mike Schill passed away. That's the purpose, right? And if I don't write that down every single day, and if that's not in front of me every single day, then I'm not dialed in. Number one, and number two, if that's not in front of me every single day, well then, when I'm making a cold call, or I'm looking to close a deal and somebody says go play in traffic, or an inbound lead says they're not interested, or a client that we're fulfilling isn't satisfied for whatever reason it is, then I'm going to get bogged down in that I'm going to get bogged down in that moment and not pick my head up and realize that these are the moments that you have to deal with and you have to overcome in order to get to what I write down every single morning. And I'll get those things. Like, y'all don't forget this name, man. Like, it's coming. Like, I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you, it's coming. It's just like that. That's the thing that motivates me. That big picture. It makes all the other stuff that you deal with every single day, not as serious.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So I ask this question to every guest that's on the show. What is your meaning of motivation without the hype, and how do you use motivation for your personal success?
Yeah, motivation without the hype isn't even motivation, it's inspiration. Motivation comes and it goes, it's a feeling. If you lock onto motivation every single day, well, you're gonna have one hell of a day. You might as well just hop on a damn roller coaster that goes up and down and up and down, because that's how your day is gonna look like. So like, that motivation thing is incredibly important but I don't think it's something that you can rely on because it's not something that stays consistent.
You mentioned about motivation alone is not enough. Can you share your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Yeah. Easy. 2 days ago, the alarm goes off. It's 5 a.m. I wasn't motivated to get up. Very simple, very real life situation and scenario. I was not motivated to get up. I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to go into the gym. I didn't want to do 45 minutes of cardio and then do my lift and then get into my day. Like, I didn't want to do that. So if I was only relying on motivation 2 days ago, then 2 days ago I would have just stayed in bed, right? It's not necessarily relying on motivation, but it's relying on, man, it's like what we talked about before. It's that big time purpose or that big time goal. Like, the thing that gets me fired up is that goal. Like, what is your big time goal? Like, I'm not talking about your year goal. I'm not talking about your 3-year goal, but like in the next 10 years, in the next 25 years, when you die and it's all said and done, what is it that you want to have achieved? And go big. Like, whatever it is that you said as far as a dollar sign, whatever it is that you said as far as your relationship with the family, whatever it is that you said as far as the impact that you have in the world, whatever it is that you said as far as your own personal growth and development, right? Multiply that by 10, add another 0, bring in another 4 relationships.
Come on.
That's the thing that you get. That's the thing that you get inspired by. So that's why I said that motivation is very, 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 very important. Very important. But it cannot be the end all be all.
Correct.
Because it ends sometimes and then it begins sometimes.
And I love it because motivation is important. It may not be enough, but being inspired by your purpose gets you up regardless. Right. And like having a goal and everything in between gets you going. It's like, yep, I'm crushing it. I'm going for it because I've been fulfilled. It's like everything that I said, it's in motion. Right. So,
yes.
Man, that's awesome. Man, Michael, thank you so much for this awesome, episode. And it's such a privilege to have you on, really. And guys, for more information and how you can get in touch with Michael, look at our show notes. All the links are provided there. Please connect with him and follow him because he's doing amazing stuff and kicking goals, enjoying life, and making things happen in between. Now, if this episode has been helpful and uplifting, we would love for you to write a review to inspire more listeners to get plugged in. We will continue to provide high-value content in each and every episode. If you don't mind sharing this podcast show on social media by inviting others, it will mean the world to me. Every time you tag me or tag us, we will get the opportunity to share those posts, and together we can make a difference in the lives of others through inspirational episodes just like this. So there you have it. In closing, continue to unleash your greatness and tell yourself that I can, I will, and I must, and we'll see you on the next episode.